Good day, I am Mac Jacob Estigoy, and we are here to present our research. Our research is all about film and activism, a qualitative study on the role of film in activism during martial law. Cinema is a vital tool for drawing attention to the issues of the day and uncomfortable truth about society. Moreover, activism consists of efforts to promote or intervene in social, political, economic, or environmental reform with a desire to make changes in society toward a perceived greater good. Public historian Michael Charleston, or also known as Xiao Chua, said that it was important to look back at how filmmakers told their stories during the Marcos regime to give a glimpse of what life was like back then, and also learn lessons that may be applicable now. And according to Joel Lamangan, who spent 4 years of his youth in jail from 1973 to 1975 and 1977 to 1979, this was the case from all forms of arts that helped show the people the truth about the country. With the development of information technology, a person immersion in the field of mass media is steadily increasing. A significant portion of consumed media product is occupied by the cinema. Cinema becomes a tool for broadcasting state ideology to the masses, and it is also being considered as means of individual and social transformation, according to T. Kashiani. As a result, films are expected to form beliefs, influence opinions, and change attitudes, including towards topical social issues. However, the question of the efficiency of films remains open in psychology. In general, this is a key issue for mass communication research, how much emotion, cognition, and behavior are changed under the influence of mass media. There are various concepts about this, from theories of minimal effect to theories of strong effects. Objectives of the study. The objective is to determine the film genre and form of activism of the 20 political science students in pamantasan ng lungsod ng Muntinlupa City. The specific objectives are: number 1, to determine the film genre needed by the political science student. Next is to determine the form of activism of the political science student. Number 3, to cite articles on the role of film in activism during martial law. Number 4, to conduct a survey on the issues. And last, to conduct a seminar workshop on the role of film in activism. The significance of the study. It was important to look back at how filmmakers told their stories during the Marcos regime to give a glimpse of what life was like back then and learn lessons that may be applicable now. The present study analyzes the impact of film on activism of the students. The student is useful for policymakers in the field of science, education, curriculum developers, school administrators, principals, teachers, parents, and students. The study will provide a guideline to the teachers to develop a reading manual for the effect of film in activism of the youth.
Good day, sir. Today, I will describe to you the different framework of study and how our study will contribute to our theory. First one, the theoretical framework of our study. The theoretical framework of our study was the collection of films in activism during martial law. This study will set us a process of collection of evidence and theoretical construct and help us to defend our research through the data that we collected. The different films during martial law that triggered the activists will set as an important information that introduces and describe our theory and answer our statement of the problem or research problem. Next one, the conceptual framework of our study. The conceptual framework of our study illustrates our perspective to find or the result through our research. This is the target data collections through the process of our research. The different films during martial law. Example, the Himala and the person under on this film, the director, and what are the role of these films during the Marcos regime or during the martial law. And the The role of this film during martial law was it triggered the heart of the Filipino people to fight for their freedom and let the President Marcos step down to his position. The next one was, how will my study contribute to our theory? My study will set as a process of our research, define the methods we will use in collecting information or data gathered, and define the relevant variables for our study, and maps out the data collected related to our research problem. The overall contribution of my study in our theory was the proving of different evidences that depend our research. That's all. Thank you.
What are some of the limitations of this study? Since this study will focus on the role of films in the activism in the Philippines, the research group agreed to review films that are produced during the martial law, but are not limited to Filipino films only. The time frame to be studied will start in the martial law era up until 1985. Data collections do you intend to employ in this study? The research group agreed to collect data by using of interviews by our qualified respondents. By means of qualified respondents, we are actually aiming to have respondents who are aged 18 years old and above and are registered Filipino voters. By these prerequisites set by the research group itself, it will actually help us to have answers or response by people who are already aware to what happened in the martial law era. The research group also chose two reliable institutions to help us conduct a narrative synthesis. And these are the Directors Guild of the Philippines and the National Union of Students in the Philippines. Why have you selected these methods? We chose the method of interview or narrative synthesis to our qualified respondents because we want to deeply understand their opinions and experiences from that phenomenon. Interviews are a method of data collection that involves two or more people exchanging ideas and experiences or opinions. And also, by use of this method, each person's story will arise. Furthermore, the research group is anticipating into more detailed answers to our respondents. That's why we choose interviews and narrative synthesis other than data collection methods.
Good day, I am April Russo Manila, one of the researchers of the study Film and Activism, a qualitative study on the role of film in activism during martial law. The problem that we are intended to study is about how film used as a medium and how it helps in activism during martial law. These are the list of questions that helps the researcher to interpret the study. First is, in what way did the film used for activism? Second, what is the impact of using film in activism? Third, how does film help in activism during martial law? Fourth, does the film has a significant role in activism during martial law?